right outside, so come on in, don't be shy. We've got ghosts and UFOs. Brace yourself, get ready for the show. Don't be afraid of the dark, the fun's about to start. Nightmares or tales will inspire. Oh, tonight at the Scaredy Campfire. Have you heard tell of a demon next door? Or maybe a cryptid on the lake shore? There's nothing too strange for us here, so if you're ready, stamp out your fear. Don't be afraid of the dark, the fun's about to start. Nightmares or tales will inspire. Tonight at the Scaredy Campfire. Whoa, whoa.
Welcome back, campers, to episode 61 of the Scaredy Campfires. This tale begins where safety should exist, behind closed doors, locked windows, and familiar walls. But sometimes protection is only an illusion, and whatever one's in is already inside. Tonight's story comes from Reddit user who recounts a night deep in the pine forests of Lithuania during a military summer camp. What began as a routine hike and an unexpected overnight survival exercise slowly unraveled into something far more disturbing. As darkness fell and the fire refused to catch, a simple search for dry wood led 3 campers away from the safety of camp and straight into something watching from the trees. It happened like 6 years ago when I was in this military summer camp in the middle of fuck knows where in Lithuania, surrounded by dense pine forests. Looked beautiful as fuck, I can't lie. The camp was alright, basic military stuff. Wake up early, go to the flag post, stand at the attention until the flag is raised, and other stuff like that. In the program, we had this one day that was going to be only hiking, so when that day came, we all woke up, packed some stuff, and along with one of those counselors went into the forest. Hiked for, I don't know, maybe 2-3 hours until he stopped and said, "Yup, we are gonna set up here." Me and my little friend group looked around and everyone was confused like us. Turns out, one thing the counselor didn't mention is that we were going to build shelters and spend the night in the forest. So everyone puts their shit down and began dragging sticks and moss and other stuff you can find in a forest and building this makeshift camp. Took the whole day of building to complete our shelters. While we were busy building, the counselor that was with us found a jawbone of some animal laying on the ground, so he picked it up, then found a stick and with twine tied it to the top of the stick, acting like some fuck-ass tribal shaman. Then, I kid you not, he found a frog. It had rained the day before, so there were a lot of frogs. Picked it up and with a knife stabbed straight through, and with twine tying it to the jawbone and on his stuff. Then he walked around the camp picking up weird stuff from the ground and decking out his stuff. It was fucked up, to be honest, but then it looked so fucking cool to us. Anyways, the sun starts setting and the forest is kinda dark now, so we were trying to light a fire with those fire starters. I don't know how they all called it in English, but it's that metal rod you strike with your knife and sparks fly everywhere. We keep trying to light a fire, but the wood is wet and can't light for shit, so me and 2 friends volunteer to go out into the forest and find some sticks that might have been under a tree and didn't get as wet as the other sticks. We walk around for like 5 to 7 minutes until we find this small tree. Looked like it was from a painting, a small clearing in the forest with three somewhere almost in the middle. I can't remember what it looked like clearly. We walked up to it and found out it was dry enough to light, so we began trying to break it. Spent like another 10 minutes in this creepy ass dark forest trying to break this tree and take back the wood. But then shit got really fucked in a couple of seconds. As we were shaking the tree and trying to overpower it, we heard some branches cracking somewhere deeper in the woods and all turned to look at it. We had one shitty flashlight, so one of us shined it into the direction where the sound came from, and honest to God, we saw a huge black creature stood on four legs. The shitty flashlight could shine that far, so to us it looked like a black mass, was at least 3 meters tall, looked like a human with elongated limbs, but it didn't move at first, just standing there on four legs. We started thinking that it might just be a shadow and that our minds are playing tricks on us, but then the fucker moved. Looked like it started leaning in our direction, and when we saw one of the legs move, we dipped out of there. I haven't run faster in my life, so we run back to the camp, still no campfire. Everyone is looking at us like we are some animals and out of breath. One of my friends begins almost shouting how there's someone in the woods. No one believes us. Some older kids sitting around now stand up and ask for the flashlight and say they are gonna check it out. We sit there trying to catch our breaths while the counselor is still holding his staff in nightmares, asking questions about what we saw. Then some time passes, wasn't long, maybe a couple of minutes, and the older kids come back running and they say the same thing. That something was there in those woods. I can't remember clearly how they described it, but I think it was like me and my friends did. So the counselor put his staff down, told us to pack up because the fire was not going anywhere and we couldn't boil water to cook our food, and started hiking back. The hike was brutal, almost pitch black, and the thought in the back of our heads that something might be following us. After another couple of hours, we got back to the main camp, got into our little huts and went to bed. Our hut did not sleep that night, probably the most fucked up thing I saw in my life. It could all be just shadow that shifted or just seeing stuff from being tired, but still a little story that sometimes I remember while walking through a forest. Whether it was exhaustion, fear amplified by the dark, or something truly unknown moving through that forest, the encounter left a mark none of them could shake. Even the older campers saw it. Even the counselor abandoned the ritual bravado and ordered an immediate retreat. Years later, the memory still surfaces, especially among trees, when the light fades and branches crack in the distance, because some forests don't just surround you, they watch you. And once you felt that presence, you never walk among the same way again. Tonight's second story comes from Reddit user u/Ezra00, who describes a moment so subtle and ordinary that it almost slipped by unnoticed until it didn't. What started as a calm, sober evening of board games and laughter took a sharp turn when someone familiar smiled, walked away, and was suddenly nowhere to be found. It all happened just last night, but I can't stop thinking about it. My boyfriend, his sister, her boyfriend, and I stayed outside for quite a while, playing board games, talking, laughing, etc. To be clear, we were completely sober. When we realized it was already late, we started to tidy up the table and slowly head inside. Now, my boyfriend's sister went to the bathroom and her boyfriend was standing right in front of the bathroom, which is important in the story. From where he was standing, he had a perfect view of what was happening in the corridor leading from the entrance, because the door from the corridor to the inside of the house was glass. My boyfriend started collecting things from the table outside the house and headed to the boiler room. right next to the glass door to put the trash away. Since I didn't have much to do, I followed him. The moment he noticed me walking next to him, my boyfriend smiled without a word and disappeared behind the door to the boiler room, which was already a bit strange. When I think about it now, first of all, my boyfriend rarely smiles at all, let alone for no reason. Secondly, he hasn't said a word, but he always likes to tease me with something like, "Why are you following me around?" and stuff. Not suspecting anything strange, I simply waited for him in front of the boiler room door. But when I noticed the lock on the door from the outside, I closed it just for fun. His sister's boyfriend, seeing this through the glass door, laughed, probably expecting, like me, that my boyfriend would try to convince me to open the door. Before I realized that not even the slightest sound was coming from inside, I was laughing too. Only a few minutes did I decide that maybe my boyfriend was making fun of me and wanted to scare me by not saying a word. Then, still in a pretty good mood, I finally unlocked the boiler room door and pushed it open so he could get out, but complete darkness and silence were all that was inside. I felt a bit uncomfortable, so I told him not to make fun of me and that I only locked him there for a moment, as if I felt the need to explain myself. I called his sister over and told her to use a flashlight so I could spot him somewhere inside, but surprisingly the boiler room was really completely empty. Her boyfriend then came closer, appearing inside, and was just as confused as I was. Later he even swore he'd seen the same thing, that my boyfriend had gone in, and that we'd both laughed when I locked the door. My boyfriend's sister was skeptical because she was the only one who hadn't seen it while in the bathroom, so she looked outside the house and called me right after. When I approached her, she said, "He's sitting on the couch in front of the house," and walked away as if it wasn't the strangest thing in the world. She was right. My boyfriend was just sitting on the couch without knowing anything, and that made my discomfort even greater. Seeing my shock, he seemed genuinely surprised and concerned. So he asked what was going on, and upon hearing my story, he said that he hadn't been in the boiler room at all. I kept asking him questions, but each time he denied that he was even there. My boyfriend, just for a record, is not a fan of such stories, and they make him anxious and afraid, so he would have no reason to make fun of me. If I weren't for the fact that his sister's boyfriend saw it too, no one would probably believe me. If it had been just a trick of tired eyes, it would have been easy to forget. But two people saw the same thing, the same smile, the same movement, the same disappearance. To this day, her boyfriend insists he was never there at all. No joke, no prank, just a presence that looked right, acted right, and vanished into darkness, because sometimes the most unsettling encounters aren't with monsters or shadows. They're with something that knows exactly how to look like the rest of the people we trust. That's all for episode 61, campers. If something in your home feels wrong tonight, don't dismiss it. Houses remember, and they don't always forget. Keep your light close and your trust closer.
As the night gets longer and the darkness creeps in, with the eerie silence broken only by whispering wind, come gather round the fire, the flickering flames, and hear the tales of the spooky and the strange. Chill up your back, a shiver up your spine. You'll be haunted by the things that you find. Legends will unfold and stories will be told at the Scaredy Campfire, for only